Murphy, you're the PwC GPA Player of the Month. It probably feels a bit hollow after the weekend you've just had, though.
Aye, that's what it is. Feels a bit different. You would have swapped all now for a victory over the weekend, but listen, here it's difficult to take and difficult to stomach. But we, listen, we're beat by a better team, Mayo, with a better side, and missed too many chances in the second half to be competitive at a quarter final stage. So unfortunate, but just need to lick the wounds and get on with it again, you know.
And is it something where you think on another day you would have performed differently? Like, what do you think went wrong?
That's the burning questions going over and back the head constantly. You know, I thought this year we had reached a level of consistency in our performance that we maybe hadn't got the previous year, and we were consistent right the whole way out throughout the championship in terms of what we were at and what we were doing. So it was hard to envisage it changing. You know, in the Mayo game, obviously we knew Mayo were going to bring a huge level to it, and they did, and we failed to match that in that open period of the first half, and we lost a lot of possession, and Mayo got their goal and got ahead, but I thought we did enough in the start of the second half to warrant ourselves getting back into it. But ultimately the amount of chances that we missed, you know, it killed us in the end at that stage. Again, it's just all Ireland quarter final stage, and any mistake is going to be kind of highlighted, and we just created too many of them in that second half to be close in the end to win the game, you know.
And the Super 8s as a concept, of course, is coming up again. Like, you won your provincial championship and you have to play your last game away from home. You know, the likes of Dublin, Tyrone being a bit of a dead rubber as well at the weekend. Even the fact that the semi-finals are a week after the final group game as well. What are your thoughts on the Super 8s?
I suppose we're slightly bit different in terms of absolutely no excuses in our 2 years of playing them, in terms of we had a home game back end last year against Tyrone in our last game to go and win. We failed in that game, and as I say, we put ourselves in a situation this year where if we won our last game we would be in the All-Ireland semi-final again. So listen, we have no excuses in that regard. Probably the 6 to 7 day turnaround for certain teams is difficult. We did that in our first 2 rounds of the Super 8s, and it is tricky, but isn't it the same for really all teams that are there? And it's the same for the 4 teams that are in it now. Yes, it's a difficult turnaround, but I think it has turned to a squad game now, and you're using more players than you would have done other years. But yeah, maybe an extra week, you know, between the last group stage of the Super 8s and the semi-finals could be something that could be looked at. And but you know, I think ultimately too, what you want from a competition is the 4 best teams to be left in the All-Ireland semi-final, and I think we would agree that the 4 best teams, based on their showings in the Super 8s, are there in it now, you know.
Will you watch the semi-finals, or will you just switch off from football?
It's the last thing I suppose you're thinking of now, but I know come Saturday and Sunday it'll be probably the first man to tune in and watch them and get at it again. If anything, it'll get hunger up again for next year, and you'll be looking at ways to try and improve and get at it again. And so we'll meet as a team in the next couple of weeks again, and we'll thrash it out and get through it again, and we'll just have to get back on the road again, as tough as it is. And it's a long time again to next year, but it won't be long coming around either.
Do you think the fact that Mayo had a bruising encounter with yourselves, whereas Dublin, well, to some degree you could say they haven't had a massive top-end challenge that would have taken a lot out of them this year, does either side have an advantage?
Listen, Dublin, with the level they've been playing at, it's just very difficult to see them getting beat. But I know Mayo will be coming up using the positives of what the adversity they've come through this year already. And you know, they have a lot of their players back from injuries that they didn't have earlier in the season too, and they're going to be looking at all those positives. They'll look at the positives of playing Dublin over the last number of years, and they've never been too far away at all. So as I say, they'll come up with plenty of hope and plenty of belief. With no doubt Dublin on the other side will be coming with it too, and it's just the level of consistency that they've had, as I say, over the last number of years is something that we haven't seen. And you know, it's quite easy to see maybe Mayo going close, but it's just difficult to see Dublin getting beat.
Is it that they just don't waste any ball? Is that what
yeah, I think they've changed, and everybody's looked at they've changed a slight bit of the way they've played over the last number of years, and so far as they're a lot more careful in possession, and they you know, their shooting efforts are from places where you'd expect them to score, and 9 times out of 10 they do score. So, and plus then the other side of the things is they've got phenomenal players all over the field, and that can't be you know, not recognised, you know, from from their keepers really through to their back line, the footballers that they have around their middle third, and their coaches up front. They have it all, you know, and they have players then to come on off the bench that seem to be able to just take up the mantle, no bother at all, you know.
So for yourself, you have won an Ulster title this year, and I know your aspirations were to lift the All-Ireland title, but for yourself, a personal landmark of lifting 5 of the 10 Ulster titles that Donegal have ever won. I mean, that's surely got to mean something.
Yeah, just come here. It does. As I say, we have put huge, huge faith in Ulster championships. I think coming off the back of where, you know, when I first came into Donegal squad and we hadn't won one in so long, it was always a big famine to try and get over, and I think we believe, you know, up with us, any time that you do win a provincial championship, it leaves you in better stead going into the latter stages of the All-Ireland series, through confidence and just through that winning mentality. So, you know, again, you enjoyed this one as every much as you enjoyed the other one, and you know, it's hard to even look back at it. It seems like an age ago now, just due to the fact of the games that have been and gone since. But yeah, listen, we'll go back into it next year, and Ulster's getting every bit as more difficult to navigate than it ever has been, and no doubt next year it'll be as competitive as possible. But you know, when the draw rocks around in October again, it'll be full guns blazing for it again, you know.
I'm not 100% sure on this one, but did you turn 30 over the weekend?
You're old now, hey? Yeah. Losing the hair and going grey.
Did you get have you let a bit of steam off since, or done anything to mark the occasion?
Very, very little now. Met up with the boys for the day there, and we met up together, and it was nice to be in everybody's company, but it's just not the same thing when you get beat or get defeated. But yeah, it was grand, as I say. You would have wanted to celebrate it with a win and be looking forward to something this weekend, but not to be, so it'll just pass like many other birthday. And
how is the body? Like, you know, you've been on the road so long, do you feel like you can go on for a long while yet?
So it feels like at the moment, you know, I've kind of been very fortunate, I think, over the last probably 2 to 3 years, other than maybe at the front part of last year due to injury, of missing out a wee bit in it. I've managed to really look after myself as best as possible, and managed to be fit and not missing any trainings, and when you're doing that and you're not missing trainings, you inevitably, you know, feel comfortable in trying to perform as best as you can, and for me it's just really staying injury free, and you know, through the efforts and through all the background team that I have there, and falling upon a way of understanding my own body, I've realised a way of just being able to stay fit and healthy, and as long as I do that, I feel that I can play or contribute something to Donegal anyway, and as long as that continues, I'll keep at it. And it might be a different story if bodies and injuries start coming in, but until that time, I'll just keep at it and keep battling away as I can, you know.
Is that kind of stretching, core work, a combination of different things?
A combination of everything, you know, whether it's eating, nutrition, and it's you know, with the level of strength and conditions involved there now, they're able to pinpoint certain weaknesses that might come up due to injuries, and you're able to strengthen those parts of the body. And I think with the combination of all that together, then you end up getting fit, and then when you go through, I always like to find if you can get through them first 10, 12, 14 trainings of the year, you know, without any hiccups or without any blotches, it builds up a certain bit of strength in your body to be able to withstand the next bits, and then once you get through the first 2 or 3 games, you build up a certain bit of resilience to it, and once you can do that, then you know, you can get out and get training, and you know, the expertise that we have there is quite good, and it helps me anyway in that regard, you know, to push on, you know.
Kerry and Tyrone are in the other semi-final as well. Who do you expect to come through that game?
A tricky one, you know. Tyrone, I suppose, have changed their style this year without a shadow of a doubt, and I think they look towards the playing at this All-Ireland semi-final and final stages of maybe needing to play in that certain way of playing. So, as I say, Kerry, we've played them, I suppose, this year too, and it was quite an open game of football with 2 teams trying to attack as much as they possibly can. So it will be tricky, it will be difficult. I think Tyrone's going to go into it very confident from the route they've gone through and from the familiarity they've been able to play with each other, and get themselves up and going, that they'll be hoping to stifle as many of the Kerry men as they can, and try and get scores on the board of the other side. So you know, you have a sneaky feeling for Tyrone, but Kerry get to Croke Park too. They're always difficult, you know.